it was not always so. Long ago, the old empire, the noblest and most enduring society created by humankind, spanned almost the entire continent of Zerine, the cradle of man. But after several millennia of progress and incomparable achievements, inevitably, the empire began to fall into stagnation and decadence. Desperately holding on to their privileges and resisting change while trying to avert the collapse of the realm, the emperor and his theocracy took to measures that were worthy of true despots in cruelty. Subjugating weaker realms, enslaving whole nations, strip mining foreign resources, oppressing imperial citizens, war on several fronts, genocide. Eventually, the gods could no longer tolerate such horrors wrought in their name. Foretold by an abundance of divine omens, they descended upon the empire to right its wrongs. Thus, in a chain of dreadful events that became known as the Calamity, they annihilated the empire in a matter of days. The gods then finally saw what they had done in their anger and confusion. It is said that so much grief and shame filled them that they were broken and they left this reality, never to return. The continent and its inhabitants seemed dead, but at length survivors began to crawl out of their hiding holes and faced a land that no longer welcomed them. Arcane anomalies, the fallout of the Calamity, now riddled the continent, and people realized that they had to share their new home with changed and twisted creatures. Terrible beings entered through the cracks in the tapestry of reality and rose to rule over the natives. In time, these new powers rebuilt the fallen empire in their own image, and the Riven Realms, now godless and vengeful, reincarnated from the ashes. The inhabitants of the land, such as I, now eke out a living under the crushing rule of the new empire. The continent itself constantly resists our every attempt at building a cozy home for ourselves. As travel is dangerous, many ventures specialize in transferring cargo and passengers over bleak and deadly leagues of land. Others try to take everything of value from said travelers, or attempt to find buried treasures among the ruins of the old empire. The leaders of the endeavors are, some say, the bravest men and women of the Riven Realms. Such a leader is called a Vagrus.
Vagrus. You're going to the Riven Realms. Now, what the hell am I doing here? We need Dragon Bone and 30 pottery. So that means we buy some pottery here. This is the best place in the game to buy pottery. Now, we are missing a beast of burden, which is really kind of scary. I almost wonder if I need to have even more fighters. But we want to go to the salt place, because there's someone we need to pick up there. We could go through Arkan, but here's one for Salem. Oh, there's only one. Everything else is just for Arkan. But I don't have any inventory space either way. Obsidian blades, mushroom beer. This is a defend in 43 days. Against the abolitionists. But we don't care because they're pussies. Right, I forgot. We crashed. We crashed. That's what happened. We have a bunch of things we need to do here then. I wrote it down. Visit herbalist. Here. And then here now we buy the medical supplies here. Because she is the cheapest place in the game to buy this by far. We just buy 100 when we're here. And buy some more antidotes, but you don't need them that much, but you never know what's gonna happen. She likes bogweed. Terrible price. And then we'll save after we've done all of that. And then we go and do this stuff. I'm just gonna mash through it because we already We already read all of this. We're going to the guy's house, and we're figuring out that he has been somewhere else. 3 spice. No. Oh, that's piss. Kind of a card game? Which one? Yeah, I don't really like card games that much. I've been playing a bunch of Slay the Spire, but I can like play it for a while and then I start getting annoyed because it's like when you have to go through those like 3 levels, right, or 3 chapters. And when you get to like the last one and you just die because you're just like missing a card or like whatever, it's for me it just gets on my nerves in the long term, where I feel like I just don't have control, and you just die for like no reason other than just RNG. Just kind of not a huge fan of that, but it's fun for a while. A Sultan's game. I mean, it depends a little bit on what the cards do as well. I feel like it can be kind of interesting if you have cards. Like, I prefer games that aren't like games. If that makes sense. I like Sims. I like when the games try to feel like they make sense, like a real world kind of. That's why I'm not a huge fan of Civilization or whatever, because it's very, very gamified. But when you do gamify it, I think cards can be kind of nice. If it's this thing that, like, the game isn't like... It's not like the main part of the game, but it's like this... You know, you can have cards as kind of like superpowers or something that you can play at certain points. And you can kind of just have them that way. I think that can be kind of nice. Because then it's less of a card game, and it's more like a theme, I suppose. But it looks like there's a lot of cards here. Sultan's game. Resource Management RPG. Could be worth putting on the wish list. There. I like games that are long and slow, personally. That's why I'm actually kind of enjoying this game. And the only thing I'm feeling more and more is like... I feel like I'm missing half the game by playing like a bad guy. Because I feel like you're supposed to play like a hero. And go around like, oh yeah, I'm gonna save the world from the evil wind. And I'm like, no, I want to smuggle cocaine and weed. Anyway, so... Now that we've done that, where do I need to go now? Here, yeah, try to find where the Wraith is. Try to get the Wraiths to talk. Send into the sewers. The stench of rot, feces, and piss is overwhelming. Long ago, the sewers must have been a marvel to behold, but now they are crumbling and half collapsed at places. Such is the sad fate of many an old piece of imperial architecture that has been neglected and left to decay for centuries. Trudging into knee-deep, murky wastewater, you make your way through the tunnels. trying to guess which ones can lead you to Wade. You can only hope that you will find him before getting lost. It seems that you're on the right track. There are fresh trails of bipedal creatures on the murky stonework, which can only mean that someone has recently traversed these tunnels, or maybe even does so on a regular basis. The footprints are easy to follow. Soon you find yourselves in a relatively large vault where several sewer tunnels converge. As you try to orientate yourself and decide which one to follow, you suddenly spot movement in the dark. Quick as snakes, a group of wraiths rushes forward to attack you. They clearly have no intention to take prisoners. But at last you found them. Alright, we got some dudes here. Ah! Ah! Oh! Yeah, everybody resisted it except for one guy. Alright, so that's not really worth doing. No gas grenades here. Yeah, they have a 75% resist chance against poison, so no poison today. Ouch, they do a lot of damage. Like, they do 4 minimum every single time. I need these guys to calm down. They have a 28% evade chance. Come on, they have evaded literally every single attack. Come on. Yep, he's going down. One dead. %48 evade chance. Versus 65% hit chance, yeah. I'm gonna run away. This is not going super swell. Right. I'm gonna AoE. This guy is dead, so let's do these guys. Dude, didn't I do this already? This guy. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. If there's another fight after this, I'm dead. I can't. I cannot fight more than this. There we go. Jesus Christ. You slay the wraiths, but you have only a few seconds to catch your breath, which is not a pleasant thing to do down here, before new ones emerge from the tunnels. A whole swarm, it seems. They do not attack, however, seeing you amidst a pile of their dead kin, but you are surrounded and hopelessly outnumbered. Many of the wretches snigger, or bare their pointed teeth, or simply eye you hungrily. Behind their ranks you spot a wraith wearing a primitive mask made from a burlap sack of and pieces of bone. His black eyes gleam with a murderous light. "Why have you come into Wade's lair?" he hisses. "Surely to die." You are still thinking about an answer when Nadir suddenly reaches down, and before anyone can react, she has grabbed one of the wraiths from the first wave. Holding it hostage with her quarterstaff pressed against its sinewy neck, it appears that the wretch was playing dead. The staff glows faintly, and the wraith shrieks in terror. It does not escape your attention that Wade takes an involuntary step forward, but then he just shrugs. "What of it?" he asks indifferently, perhaps too indifferently. "We're many." Perhaps. Nadir's smile is cruel as ever. "But are you so careless to let your lover die?" The wraith's leader lets out a scream of anger, and you glare at the sorceress in disbelief. She's apparently right, but how did she know? Sorcery for sure. Nadir gives you a mischievous look, as if to say, "I have many talents." Suddenly Wade is not so confident anymore. "Lower your weapons," he commands his cronies, and they obey. Then he turns to your group. "Now tell me what you want." "We happen to know that there was a necklace you tried to steal from the merchant Pardar," Nadir tells him. "Tell me everything you know about it, and do not dare to lie to me. I will know, as I have known, that this ugly little bird here is your concubine." To give gravity to her words, she strengthens the grip on her hostage's neck. The wraith winces in pain. "Don't hurt her," Wade says hastily. "I'll tell you what I know." Nadir raises her eyebrow, showing that she is listening. "I saw that trinket when I went to Pardar, peddling some of my wares." The wraith begins. "I wanted to have it as soon as I laid my eyes upon it. I just needed to have it. I coveted it. Don't know why. It was almost as if the damned thing whispered to me. I've even dreamt of it, if you believe it. I tried to purchase the necklace, but Pardar wouldn't sell. Maybe you know that I tried to steal it." Nadir nods. "But I simply messed up and made too much noise." The sorceress stops him. "Was there a second time?" "No," Wade admits. "But I planned it. The thought to possess this trinket wouldn't leave me alone. But while scheming my next attempt, I learned that Pardar had sold the necklace to a Kalrish chieftain. Daikorvas his name was, I believe. That's all I know, I swear, and I assure you, the urge to get the amulet is long gone. Now, will you let Bria go?" You wonder why Pardar never mentioned it in his papers that he'd sold the necklace. "So Bria is her name?" Nadir asks Wade. "I do not think we shall let her go. Not right now. We need her to make it out of here without you ordering your lackeys to slaughter us. Do stay put." Then she begins to slowly back away, dragging Bria along with her. Wade watches with helpless rage, but does not make a move. Now that the wraiths are not following you, the group tracks back the way you came, and it's only a matter of time until you find a sewer entrance. Bria writhes and squirms in Nadir's merciless grasp. "Can I go now?" she whimpers. "Please, you're safe now." But Nadir eyes her with a predatory smile. "I say we kill her, Vagrus," she says in a voice cold as ice, "just to teach that filth a lesson." The wraith's eyes widen in terror. "No, I beg you, please." "No, I want her to live." Everybody lost loyalty. Nadir is none too happy about your decision, but knows better than to disobey her Vagrus. Reluctantly, she releases Bria. Thank you," the small creature gabbles, then disappears into the sewer's shadows. Nadir shakes her head disapprovingly. "That was a mistake," she declares. "One should never allow enemies to survive while having the upper hand. Anyhow, now we are looking for some Kalrish warlord. What was his name? Daikorvas? Those vagabonds have a corner of their own in the market district, and so that must be our next destination. You leave, Beggar's Rot." I just didn't feel like it just felt like if I killed her, he would just come seek vengeance and it would just be annoying. So I just decided not to. Dried fruit. Iron. This is such a bad price for iron. But pretty much the only thing that is worth buying here, like for real, is pottery. But I do like being a scrap metal merchant for whatever reason. Alright. We've done the library. Yeah. Dragon's Nest, done. Market district, we've been to the market. Look for Dai Corvas and his herd. You start asking questions. The Kalrish here, of course, know of the great Dai Corvas and his herd, unequaled wanderers of the wasteland. In fact, they speak of them in reverence. What you learn is that Dai Corvas left months ago, heading west towards the Searing Plains. Rumors indicate that his goal was to contact a Tarkian trade prince in Tectum Carvos, with whom he intended to conduct some business. No one has heard of him, or his herd, since then. That is our only lead then. Nadir concludes, after your inquiries yield no other result but variations of the above story. She seems quite irritated. I'm afraid we have no choice but to travel to Tectum Carvos, for better or worse. Alright, we haven't been there yet. Pendant. I don't think there's like anything that's worth doing with this guy. All his prices are bad. He doesn't sell anything. He's just kind of ass. Low chance of success. Ooh! Turning a corner in one of the poorer parts of the civic district, you come upon a small commotion. About 20 bystanders surround half a dozen fellows sitting at a low table, cheering them on and staring in muffled silence in turns. The people at the table are playing Dux Bellum, a popular and complex card game that also uses dice. You join the onlookers and see that not only do these players know what they are doing, but they are also playing in fairly high stakes. You could join them for the next round should you be interested in doing so. The gamblers cannot believe their eyes when they lose the game to you, a newcomer. That was well done, one of them says, but also damn lucky. Hope that luck won't be missed on your journeys, eh, traveler? Ooh, 1 bros. Not much there. Nothing here. Provide proof that we have slain undead. I don't know. Do I want to give up the spectral residue or should I keep that? Pay for Blessing of Unbinding. It's so expensive. And it's, again, it's like, unless you know that you're gonna need it, which you actually don't, which is a little annoying, because I was thinking like, oh, you know, if you're doing a quest for the Church of Ashgul, then yeah, sure, you just take it, right? That makes sense. But not necessarily as simple as that. We go here. I didn't take anything to Arkan. Like, we only have these guys who want to go to Arkan, but cares. We can go here, look for some abolitionists out in the wilderness. Hollow Eyes Wrath. What is this? Bushwhack. What is bushwhack? Ambush the advanced enemy with traps and surprise attack. Plus 10% damage. Well, that doesn't matter. Actually, damage might matter. But this gives... Flanking gives 20 damage. So flank is pretty much the best option. Because if you do more damage, that means you kill more. Because the combat strength really doesn't seem to really equate to that as much, necessarily. That just kind of changes. Intercept. Minus 30 flee. We kill their leader. And we kill the rest. Bone carvings and bones and stuff. Alright. So it's here somewhere. What are the odds that it's not in there? I think the odds of that are low. It wasn't in there. Damn. I see. I'm not sure. Any of these things mean. I have no clue. No clue. Or outside of it. Damn, it's... The map is really... misleading, I'll be honest. What is the 29? 100% scroll, dude. The scouting UI makes no sense at all. The scouting UI desperately needs more tooltips, because even after having done the tutorial, I have absolutely zero clue how it works at all. I just see a bunch of numbers and colored flags and stuff, and it means literally nothing. Like, I'm seriously, like, the scouting system is like, it's like 1 out of 10. It's literally complete garbage. It doesn't work. This is the only thing you can kind of get out of it. Like, that you can see that there's an event somewhere. That's it. The grassy plain of Hargad Tool gives way to the maze-like pattern of chasms and ravines of the hollow crags to the west. It is here that your combs notice an unassuming but large camp of tents and huts surrounded by a stone fence. Kriftai is certain that these must be the Hollows. Nobody sane would live here, so close to the lairs of the dreaded Hollow Eyes. Oh, yeah, we killed those guys. You could still avoid the camp, but Kriftai seems ready to take them on. Are you sure? Yes. You have no room for tricks or maneuvers in this open field, so you simply lead your fighters in a rapid advance against the low fence. The Hollows cannot have expected an attack and had no way of discovering you, but somehow they are already armed and ready for a fight. Once you reach them, you realize that something is amiss. The fighters of the liberated tribe are eerily silent, and they move in an odd way, as if their arms and legs were stiff. Yet you have to face them now. They're undead? Alright. Flank them. They're fleeing. Yep, let's just save some resourcefulness. That was easy. Take them as slaves. In. The Hollows are soundly defeated. As their fighters are corralled together and disarmed, something odd begins to take its course. One by one, the former slaves begin to come to their senses as if waking from hypnosis. Many of them panic, seemingly unable to understand where they are or have no recollection of what just happened. Once they are calm, you question them and learn that they felt a droning presence for weeks after they gathered here to reach out to the Hollow Eyes. Then one by one they fell victim to an unseen will. Some of them remember flashes of the time past since then, but most of them are completely oblivious to the happenings of the last year or so. The ones who initially led them here are all dead, slain by your fighters. The liberated tribe survivors believe that the will that took hold of them will not let them leave. Nobody wants to say it out loud, but you are thinking it. They're implying the Hollow Eyes. Kriftai looks frustrated. Again the decision falls to her about the fate of the conquered. I know what you're thinking, she tells you. She clacks her beak irritably. but I am not heartless, and still this is the wasteland. I have seen enough acts of charity that led to sorrow and death out here. This is your chance to persuade her in making the choice. You could enslave them and take them with you. I won't allow that, she tells you so decisively that you have no doubt that she is serious. These people were enslaved for a long time to then become enslaved by abominations in this place. If you don't want to take them or protect them, just abandon them. Then they'll be able to act independently. Alright. Well, in that case, we'll leave them to fend for themselves. Kripta, Garrick, Harvick, Nadir, Endrin, Kylon gained loyalty. Nobody likes being nice. The commentators depart. What the fuck? Tons and tons and tons and tons of things. But tons of things that I'm gonna have to delete, unfortunately. 7 herbs, 17 bogweed. In fact, pretty much all of it's gonna have to be deleted, but I can keep some things here. Do I really want to bother with bogweed? It's so useless. Alright. That was that. Damn, traveling 12 on the road is so crazy. Let's see. This one to Salem. Can't take it because we already have a quest with them, which is to Salem. Let's see. Ceruleus crystals, good price. We only have obsidian blades and mushroom beer there. Let's put that there. Everything else is sellable here. Pots are worth nothing, but Ceruleus crystals are worth quite a lot. Levo crystals worth quite a lot. Alright, Despes. Have a good night. Dried fruit are really good here, but probably better at the mines. Yes. They have a lot of supplies here. I stack up this tin. Not much here. We just rest here and then we go. To the mines. This was to Salem. Right, fruit. Expensive here. What about tin? It's a full stack of tin. Bronze. No, I only have copper. Eight, 8, yeah. What about silver? The silver would have to go all the way to Mirage. Or Larnac. Or Utvorar. I haven't really dabbled in silver before. Let's buy some silver. Pottery. Not worth anything here. Nor is bogweed. Oh. Harvick wants to talk to you in private. The tainted mercenary and you sit down at a secluded table. He explains that some miners he drank with confirmed that a man from his hit list is indeed close to this town. The fellow in question is a foreman at a mining venture funded by the Loaders Guild, although according to Harvick, only in name. These positions are typically held by collegium members, to give them legality. In any case, he could deal with the issue alone, but asks you to wait for him. It'll take a night for me to do the deed, boss, he tells you. Alright. But if he goes, he's gonna fuck it up, so we have to go with him. Harvick snorts in surprise when you tell him you want to be a part of this. Who am I to deny you, boss? He says, pats you on the arm, and tells you that you can set out immediately to the mines nearby. You head off to the mines to find Harvick's target. He tells you to bring only one more, if anyone at all. One? Garrick. After leaving the town proper behind, you spend several hours searching for the right mine, which you eventually locate tucked away in a valley north of the settlement. According to Harvick, this area has long been depleted of ore, but apparently surveyors have found new veins recently, and the Loaders Guild bought up the rights on the quiet. Once you make it to the mine, you spend some time staking it out. There are only a handful of guards outside. Harvick suggests making the hit look like an accident by collapsing a tunnel on the foreman, and wonders how to go about it. We sneak in. On the guards into leaving their post. Your plan works splendidly, and you infiltrate the tunnels with Harvick once the guards are out of the picture. And once in, you try to locate the target. Once you locate the foreman, a huge bearded orc, in one of the tunnels, it is only a question of figuring out how to collapse it on him to bury the man. Alright? It requires some expertise, for sure. We have a lot of engineering and savvy, just a little bit of perceptive. No navigation, apparently. Very high chance. You find the right post to break, and before anyone could react, the tunnel collapses on the foreman, but avoids the miners themselves. As they busy themselves clearing out the debris, you make yourselves scarce, with no one the wiser. Once you are far away from the mine, Harvick and you sit down for a brief rest, and he offers you some booze he has in his canteen. "Thanks for doing this with me, boss," he says, grinning. "Few people comprehend how important it is for me to get back at 'em. Much appreciated." You head back to the Mines of Plenty. Alright. Cool. Great. Right, this is where I wanted to buy Dragonbone. So we actually need to clear up a slot here. I'm just gonna throw away the bogweed. Fuck it. It's just so annoying. But they won't let me buy it. Alright. We need Rathanak Alliance 1, which we apparently do not have. Unless we can get it by selling something, which they also need Rathanak Alliance. Alrighty. In that case, is iron actually a good price here? Yes. So if we do buy iron here, 63, it would have to be sold at Devon or Karnak, Twin Towers, Crystal. Yeah. But sure, let's buy a full stack of iron. A little rough, but... turn in our smuggling stuff. Pottery is sellable here, but not much. Ceruleus, also kind of ass here, but sellable. That's it. We can buy a full stack of jade here. Huh. You put would you sell jade? 46. Olgaros work camp. 72 in Vitrar. Damn. Actually kind of big. This is a salt town. So I feel like we should buy some salt. Grain. You can apparently buy grain here. Not super worthwhile. Sure. Look for Fignit's pawn shop with Garrick. Let's find our picklock, aye, Garrick tells you. If you want to proceed with Latibrium's heist, you will indeed need this person's skills. The dwarf knows the way to the pawn shop. You take a few of your companions with you. Uh-oh. Garrick leads you to the pawn shop called Fignit's Gadgets, in one of Salem's less frequented streets. As you push aside the curtain of the small white-walled hut's entrance door, you find yourself inside a smelly, cramped little store. The shelves are full of various kinds of wares, from regular traveling gear to parchments containing exotic knowledge and vials filled with outlandish concoctions. A few oil lanterns illuminate the gloomy interior. Above the main counter, the taxidermied husk of a malkin hangs, under which a thin, pale-faced man of indeterminate age and exceptionally dark eyes is sitting. He is reading a scroll with great interest, and barely pays attention as you enter. But then Garrick roars, "Oi, fuckface! Is this how you greet an old mate?" The man looks up, looking surprised. "Garrick, you stinker!" He narrows his dark eyes. "Last I heard you were enjoying the hospitality of the Loaders Guild." "Nah, that's over and done," the dwarf replies. "The Vagrus here's got a proposition for you." You're not entirely sure whether the proprietor is simply turning his gaze to you or rolling his eyes in exasperation. "For real now?" he sighs. "And what would that be?" You can clearly tell that Fignit has an extremely short attention span for things that do not interest him, so you try to cut to the case as quickly as possible, and tell him everything Latibrium told you about his plan of robbing the company of the Ebony Serpent, and that Garrick suggested someone who is exceptionally good with locks, namely him. To his credit, Fignit does listen to what you have to say, although all the while you can see him casting impatient glances at the scroll you interrupted him from reading. When you are finished, he clicks his tongue. "No, sorry, I don't think so," he says. Then he keeps on reading, as if almost immediately forgetting about you. When he realizes after a few seconds that you're still present, he looks up annoyed. "Listen, good whoever you are, I hope you have a lucrative operation. I happen to have a lucrative operation here. No need to run away on some silly adventure. And Garrick, please be so kind not to harass me with your dubious schemes in the future. That's all. Good day." "What a condescending wee twat you've become," Garrick says, but Fignit's decision seems final, so you turn towards the door. Just as you're about to exit, you're pushed back by a pair of burly men who enter the store at the same time you're leaving. "Oh, Ave, Fignit, old friend," their leader says. "You didn't happen to pick any locks lately that you shouldn't have, did you?" Fignit lays down his scroll and straightens in his seat. He appears calm, but something in his black eyes tells you that he is suddenly very alert and on edge. You can see his right hand slowly edging towards the counter's underside. "Let's talk," Fignit suggests. "There's nothing to talk about," the goon replies. "You stole from where you should not have. Now you pay the price." The thugs move forward, ignoring you and Garrick. Then Fignit's right hand moves quickly as the snake in one of them collapses with a tiny throwing dagger sticking out of his throat. The leader attacks the pawnbroker the moment you duck out of the store to the street, where your companions have already drawn their weapons, facing a group of goons. Dispose of the witnesses as well, the leader shouts from inside the shop. While he's trying to deal with Fignit, the ones outside rush you. Alright, we got some goons. Oh! Bro, she's so ugly. He should die, right? No, he actually doesn't die. Man, that sucks. He did. The fight goes well, but you lose track of what's happening inside the shop. As it turns out, the leader goon knocks down one of the oil lanterns, and within moments the cramped pawn shop is engulfed in flames. Fignit coughs and staggers outside after having dispatched of the head goon. The fight is over, and it appears that the locals are doing their best to not notice that it's happening. As he walks over to you, you can see Fignit's white face illuminated by the flames that are consuming his store. You might have saved his life, but he is clearly not very appreciative. Curses, he hisses. There it is, my life's work going up in flames. Something tells me that the rest of their gang is going to be on my heels now, along with the authorities with their silly questions. He sighs, shaking his head, then turns to you and Garrick. So I guess you're gonna get exactly what you asked for. I'm your goddamn lockpick. The dwarf grins and pats him in the back with considerable force. That's the spirit, he roars. These possessed fucks keeping together. Fignit sighs and nods his head towards the side street. You leave the burning pawn shop behind as quickly as possible. You return to the comitatus with the locksmith in tow. Okay. Didn't find anything. Covenant also won't sell me a dragon bone skull. How much do you think I need to level up? Rep with them. I think I need all too much. But we can get maybe like 10 or something here. This gives 2, so we can get more than that. Arcane texts. So I don't think I'll be able to rank it up, because you need like 100. Some bullshit. Also trying to not sell my good things by accident. Rare jewel only gives 1. It's kind of BS. Nope. I was talking about leveling up my guys. Borax, for example. You can see if we can get regurgitate. Dexterous, perceptive, regurgitate. Which then gives regurgitate a big AoE. Then it's gonna need perceptive too. So we can just take that immediately. Then what else do we want here? Regen. Okay. Okay, so this I can wait. Okay, so I can just take regen. Dexterous, perceptive, regurgitate. It's just too expensive to take this level. And then we want perceptive there. Yeah. Don't really know what else I would like to give him. I need 5 insight to level her up. And Nadir. She already has Flame Toss, so she needs Prowess 6 to get to tier 3. That's a while away. Like, there's a lot of levels you can get here. Holy shit. 51 insight. Not too much going on here. Alright, we're done here then. I'm gonna buy scrap metal. Oh, a full stack of jade is only 6. Interesting. Maybe we buy the jade. The commentator is getting ready to leave the man show when a fellow you have not seen before walks up to you. He looks like a vagabond, with greasy long dark hair, thick stubble and a grin with missing teeth. His cloak and tunic are torn and dirty, yet you can see religious tattoos showing here and there, and his demeanor is polite. Just a moment of your time, Vagrus. Listen to what he has to say. The man bows his head. I merely wanted to hail you. I heard you are an ardent supporter of the Imperial Church like myself. It is not often that one comes across someone like-minded and pure in this foreign land, filled with strange reptile worshippers. I shan't keep you though. Abjura ut eas imperator divinis. If you say so. The fellow just smiles enigmatically and looks you in the eye, as if considering something, then just bows low and takes his leave. You turn your attention back to your duties and depart soon. I think he thought I was something. Now here, so we just skip Arkan. I have some guys want to go there, but I think it's literally just one guy. Not that big of a deal. Outlaws? Damn, they're nasty. Do I want a couple of soldiers? I might have lost like 4 scouts here, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm gonna conscript them. Didn't lose that much. The accursed wind. Let's not go into combat distressed. Let's pay them a little extra. It's here somewhere. Why is it not foraging? I don't get it. It's like it doesn't work. Flank their ass. Intercept their fleeing ass. Goodbye. They failed to flee. Another incoming attack. All right. Another flank. Another intercept. Great. Overseer got angry and left. Think. Turn in. -10 with abolitionists. That's fine. The economy isn't doing so good here. Distribute to Ash. 6 items. Defend near Ash. 294 encounter difficulty. Ooh. That's kind of scary. That one. Sure, let's take that one. What's it defend? Yeah. If I just buy a ton of fighters here, maybe we can just leave them there. And then just be happy with that. Alright. Oh, you can... Yeah, okay, you actually do sell them. I forgot about that. This is actually worth it then. Dragon Bone. Look for the establishment called the Ifriani in Heat with Garrick. I happen to know the way, Garrick confides with a perverted grin. Then he adds, they serve dwarves too. Head over there. You enter the colorful, chaotic tumult of the Shadow Bazaar with Garrick and a few other trusted companions at your side, and you soon arrive at the locale named the Ifriani in Heat. It is one of the more illustrious establishments frequented by resident soldiers and passers-by alike. Of course, the services provided by the staff do not come cheap, so the city's riffraff stands no chance of spoiling this fine facility. If nothing else, the 2 orc bodyguards at its entrance do a fine job of keeping them away. There's a matter of the entrance fee, which the miser Garrick has no intention of paying, so you have no other choice but to cover it. 5 of you can enter at this time. The establishment is quite crowded. No, we're damaged. Inside, you're almost overwhelmed by the thick scent of perfume and incense, as well as the sight of sheer luxury. The walls and floors are overflowing with marble reliefs, while jugs and plates made almost exclusively of bronze lie about, laden with exotic fruit. The lanterns illuminating the place are magically imbued crystals, and the slaves are clean. On the settees and intricate carpets, rich merchants, traveling nobles, and other wealthy people welter, pampered by the most beautiful whores you have seen in a long time. Amidst all these dazzling distractions, you make your way to the main bar, which is supported by milk-white ivory columns in the classical imperial style. You're greeted by a man with a scented beard and heavy makeup who smiles at you warmly. Welcome, dear guests, he purrs. Don't purr at me, bro. I'm Banday, and I'll be your servant today. How may I attend to your needs? You tell Banday that you're looking for Caristiona. Many are, he nods. Lucky for you, she's free right now. You'll find her in the green room. Payment shall be settled with her, or her bodyguard. Band-Aid chuckles and hands you a small piece of greenish mineral, then points you towards the Ifriani's upper aisle. 1 client at a time, the bartender adds when he sees that Garrick is trying to accompany you. You decide to climb up on your own, leaving your companions in the bar. You find several chambers that are marked by differently colored curtains. You approach the green one, An orc guard stands in front of the entrance, but he simply waves you inside upon seeing your piece of mineral. Came to look into my many eyes, a sweet voice asked from the chamber beyond. You pull back the curtain. You step into a small, cozy boudoir filled with cushions and decorated with tapestries, displaying intricate motifs. Lamps hang from the ceiling in a complex pattern, and somehow the whole arrangement reminds you of a spider web, adding to the eerie ambience. Why are all the sexy women in this game bald? Reclining atop the heap of pillows, you glimpse a remarkably beautiful, lithe woman. She is completely hairless, including the top of her head, but the proportions of her face and body along with her skin are perfect in an odd sort of way. By the rule of elimination, she must be Caristiona, the one you're looking for. She seems to be sleeping, yet somehow senses your presence. A slight sigh escapes from her tender lips, and she slithers down from her mountain of pillows to greet you. Quite literally so, with her 4 limbs bent backward at an unnatural angle, so that she resembles some graceful giant insect rather than an actual human being. When directly in front of you, she rises to her full height, then she opens her eyes. Those eyes in the middle of her flawless face consist of myriads of black glistening facets, and in each of them you can see your own reflection from a different angle. It is beyond mesmerizing. Caristiona is undoubtedly tainted, but the most beautiful one you have ever seen, and she is aware of the fact. Is she aware that she's bald? She touches your face gently. So what is it you desire? She whispers, and her voice begins to have an odd effect on you. You take a deep breath and try to concentrate. It takes tremendous effort to speak coherently and tell Caristiona about the plan. At first you can barely talk, but as soon as the name of Garrick is uttered and you tell her that the dwarf is waiting below, the temptress draws back a few steps and her charm diminishes. Not exactly gone, but maybe intentionally turned down a notch. You have her attention. When you're finished with the account of the heist's plans, Caristiona sits down, delicately crossing her long, spindly legs. She raises a twig-like index finger to her lips in consideration. That sounds actually intriguing, she finally says. Her voice is timid and full of hidden menace. At the same time, I must admit that I was becoming bored by my current circumstances. Yet there is one small problem. You have expected as much, so you ask her what it is. The answer does not come as a surprise. It is the Ifriani's owner, Testor. I am afraid he considers me, or at least my body, as something of an asset, and his personal property. If we are to leave, we'll have to be extremely elegant about it. You nod towards the window in the back wall of her boudoir, then suggest that her slender frame should fit through it without a problem. Yes, but there are guards in the courtyard below for precisely this reason, she replies. Maybe if you'd take care of them. You could walk out of here, pretending our tryst was concluded to your satisfaction, exit the Ifriani, then round the building, give me a sign once you're done with the guards. There is so much wrong with this plan, but upon seeing Caristiona's melancholic smile, you feel simply compelled to obey. You can see why Garrick suggested her for the heist. You wait for half an hour or so in Caristiona's chamber before returning to the bar, in order to not raise any suspicion. As you exit the Temptress's chambers, you make your way through the whorehouse, heading for the street and try to look as innocuous as you can. Thank you for your visit. Come again when you can, Bandage shouts after you as you step out into the yard. Garrick accompanies you along with your other combs. Ho there, where is Kyrie? The dwarf asks you. Didn't you manage to convince her? I should have gone instead of you. I know how to deal with them females. You explain to him quickly what the situation is. Ooh, I see, he grins. Let's get it over with. You look around outside to make sure no one is watching you, then quickly turn the corner and head into the walled courtyard behind the establishment. Not too far above, you can see the prostitutes' windows, one of which, the one with the green light, belongs to Caristiona. Down in the courtyard, a handful of guards loiter. Try to distract the guards. From the shadows of a nearby warehouse building, you and your companions make as much suspicious noise as possible. When the guards become alerted, you quickly disappear to immediately circle back to their now vacant post. You give a sign, and soon Caristiona's head appears in the green glowing window above. Upon seeing that the coast is clear, she briefly nods, then begins her descent. It is unlike anything you have ever seen. The tainted girl pushes her slender limbs through the narrow window, then proceeds to climb down the wall on all fours, head first, like a strange spider. It's simultaneously a frightful and beautiful sight to behold, and most certainly astonishing. Finally, she reaches the ground, where she twists her extremities in an impossible manner to reshape herself into a relatively normal human form. "Shall we go then?" she asks, with that wry smile of hers. "And a good evening to you, Garrick. How's that nasty disease of yours?" The dwarf blushes, very uncharacteristic of him, then grumbles something inaudible and bows his head to Caristiona. "You think that it's definitely time to go." Your team and Caristiona quickly leave the immediate vicinity of the Ifrianian heat. The tall, slim girl with the insect eyes paces at your side, with an expression of childish glee on her face. "I think we'll make quite a pair, Vagrus," she says in a low voice, so that only you can hear. As a shiver runs down your spine, you get a strange feeling that she is right. Return to the Comitatus. Alright. We have a bunch of people. I think that's all of them, right? Yeah, so we need to go down now. Down to Lumen. Not to Ark. Or not to Ash. But I suppose we can go to Ash. It doesn't really matter. We can go, like... It's very far to Avernum, but... Maybe I go to the whole way. We go here, there, Avernum, Lernac, Mirage, Crystal, Lumen. That's the typical one. We do have a quest over here in Tectum Carvos. Also, we have these two quests down there. Sure, let's do that. Receive your prize for enough delivered tribal trinkets. A bronze statuette. Well, that was not very interesting. A dozen common precious stones. A rare precious stone. A lot of simple but well-made jewelry. I have 50, apparently. Man, why is this menu so dogshit? Right. We have trophies. Moon dust. Just don't accidentally sell the skull. Ah, we leveled up. Smuggler's compartments. Now we have 50 odd jobs base chance, which will make us even more money in town. But I don't have as many slaves and workers anymore, really. What was I thinking? Oh yeah. Smuggler's compartment. Now these two stack, don't they? Yeah. So we could have 5, but don't know if I really want to do that. What did I have there? Combat saddles. That's what we had there. This one, worker and slave consumption. I think this one isn't that good anymore. Workers, slaves, 28 to 23. Workers, slaves, 22, 21. 287. 295. This one is ass, dude. I feel like. I mean, it's not, but it is. I need to sell this beast. I think we have one beast too many, don't we? Yeah. And I have too many horses, but fuck it. All right. Ash. Vial of antitoxin. A bag of spectral dust. Yeah, I just buy everything he has because he has good prices. So like whatever it is, you can sell it somewhere. But it's impossible to remember what the prices were anyway. So it's like sometimes you sell them, sometimes you buy them, whatever. Just try to buy low and sell high. Yeah, buy low, sell high. But there are so many items here. You just can't remember what you bought anything for, and it doesn't show like average prices and stuff really for that, I think. Pots worth selling here. Distribute mushroom and chitin. All right. So pots are worth selling here, but we only want to sell one stack. Salt, not worth. Jade, not worth. I want to go to Utvarar or Litrar and sell them there. So yeah, everything is useless here. This town sucks, honestly. It's complete garbage. They're cranky? What for? What? Why did they go down to broken? There's nothing wrong. I guess it was just the RNG morale. One of your scouts reports a strange phenomenon among some nearby rocks, but she cannot explain what it is, other than that it is magical in nature. You decide to follow the lead and investigate. Drawing closer to the rocky outcropping, you begin to hear the disturbance, a dull, humming constant sound. Your gaze explores the surrounding landscape, and you eventually catch sight of some kind of visual anomaly, thus far hidden among the rocks. Moving closer still, it becomes clear that it is actually a fluctuating field of sorts, hovering between two horn-shaped rock formations, like a distorted semi-transparent mirror. Peering into it, you spy shifting murky images of a different landscape, inviting you to explore. You have a fair idea of what this particular phenomenon actually is. Drawing on your knowledge of cosmology, you deduct that what lies below among the rocks is in fact a realm gate. Such gateways are said to be a byproduct of the calamity's impact on the continent. They sit where the outer realms occasionally intersect with or even encroach onto the Riven Realms, often culminating in phenomena like the portal before you. In the end, there is no telling where this thing could take you, perhaps somewhere else on the continent, or a location in the outer realms, or the darkest depths of the abyss. Get closer to investigate. After you call upon your companions, you approach the shimmering phenomenon slowly but carefully. Drawing closer, you eventually reach its base, where its full glory comes into view, a sizable shifting rift that glows with an ethereal quality and offers a view of a distorted landscape. This can only be a realm gate that leads to a distant place. The question is where exactly it leads. Moving towards the realm gate, you now have a clearer view of just one image. Straining your eyes, you see a land shrouded in green thickets populated with lush flora. You swear you even see some kind of an orchard. You catch the sweet scent of ripe vegetation, and it hits you like the closed fist of an orc. Whatever lies before you is a far cry from your current environment. You ponder what to do. The realm gate stands before you now, beckoning you to explore its secrets. While the tranquil landscape looming ahead does not seem to suggest imminent danger, what lurks in such a place is anyone's guess. Similarly, luscious bounties could be ripe for the taking. There's only one way to find out. Gather your companions. Yes. You and your combs move through the realm gate with adequate trepidation. Though when you finally cross over, the sensation is curiously unmoving. There is a surge of light around the group, along with a subtle sensation not dissimilar to passing through a swath of water, though you do not get wet. And then you arrive. Looking around, your senses are overwhelmed. Scintillating and stark colors decorate the vast jungle that sprawls out beyond your perception, and a thick humidity hangs in the air. It is as if someone has tossed a piece of wet cloth onto your face. The sweet smell of the surrounding plant life is also pleasantly pungent, along with the distant sounds that confirm the many animals and insects that inhabit this place. Glancing back at the realm gate, it seems stable, hovering between two trees, though you do notice a distinct flicker that seems to subtly change the gateway's shimmering surface. From this you garner that it is perhaps not wise to tarry here for too long. You would not want to be stuck here with your comitatus on the other side. Gates like this can disappear entirely, never to reopen in the same way, or between the same places. Now that you're here, it's time to take a look around. You set out from your point of origin, leaving the realm gate behind, but taking note of where it is. Before long, you and your combs descend into the jungle proper, where overhanging canopy looms above you, darkening the area. As you journey deeper and deeper into the forest, you spy strange red monkeys among branches at the tops of trees, who look on at your group with detached interest. Suddenly you feel that something is wrong. One of your numbers asks, "Where's Flavio?" and upon surveying the area, you realize that he is nowhere to be seen. No sound, no tracks, no blood, nothing. He is just gone. You also notice that the monkeys from earlier seem to have disappeared. Delana, your other crew member, fixes her eyes on you. "What do we do now, Vagrus?" she asks, her voice fearful. "Oh, are you just giving names to random slaves that I have with me now?" Flavio knew the risks he was taking. Proceed forward without him in hopes of salvaging something from this expedition. No, Renkailon didn't like that. You and your combs press on deeper into the jungle, and as you do, you can sense mounting dread among the group. There is little here, save for the increasingly ominous sounds of surrounding green thicket. Even the birds seem to be taunting you, squawking at your misfortune. Then it happens again. Someone is missing. Just moments before, Delana was here, talking to you, uncertain and fearful. Yet now she is gone, just like Flavio. Your companions seem baffled, but again there are no traces of what happened to her. No one gets left behind. Direct your combs to begin searching for Delana and Flavio. No, Drenkailon didn't like that either. Your combs search the surrounding area to no avail. The flora nearby conceals no secrets, nor does it seem to be of any particular use. There are no animals whatsoever here, only the echoes of a jungle plagued by a million insects. After exhausting the search, you sense that your time is running out. You gather those of you who remain and propose that you leave this place for good. Whatever is out there, it takes no prisoners and gives no quarter. Any of you could be next, and no one is eager to find out exactly who that will be. By the time you reach the gateway, you notice that the flicker from earlier has grown stronger, suggesting the gateway's closure is imminent. Everybody makes it back, though just in the nick of time before the gate closes with a final flash of light. Alright, that was shit. We got nothing. I got 1 XP, I think. 1 XP. Impressive. Hand over the promised fighters. 16, sure. You can have 16 fighters. The orcs' war cries carry far and wide. Another attack is incoming. Did I just get beasts with night vision again? Is that like a reward for doing some bullshit here? I don't get it. I don't really want to fight the Loaders Guild. Hanjari.
Whee!
And this one might be fucked too. We can buy 6 fighters here. But that means we only have 31. That's not like a huge amount, to be honest. Nothing worth selling here. I'm gonna just get rid of the hide. Wonder what happens when these guys don't like me anymore. One companion. One. Who is my best one-on-one fighter? Renkylon has 40% evade, but he like never evades. Harvek has 35% block. I think it would be Renkylon. Because he has healing too. As long as he evades, we should be good. Very good start. And I think his melee attack is free as well. I didn't even need to evade, this guy just sucks. Defend near Larnak. I think we can do it. Because we'll be able to buy guys at Avernum, Utvarar, Vitrar, maybe even Tectum Corvos. We haven't been there yet. So we can take this one. I just want to get to this. This is crazy good. +2 maximum resourcefulness. That's pretty much everything here too. Now this one I don't want to do. Think. Even if I max this out, defend, this is 243. It's a little risky. It actually is. Yeah, fuck it. Let's not take that. No? Not sure why we were at 8-8. I feel like that's not right. I mean, nothing here should keep me at 8-8. Oh, it's twilight. Okay, it's super dark. And my great lamps only reduce it by 1. See. Uh-oh. Got 580 supplies. Man, they killed 7 horses? Jesus Christ, I'm glad I had extra. It's just like mushroom beer. Mushrooms. It's like barely worth taking. Is all. Is anything worth selling here? Let's see. Not in demand, not in demand. Not in demand. No. Nothing is in demand. All right. I am just really confused as why my movement is 8. Because it's usually 9. Oh no, never mind. I forgot. It's because it's Twilight. That's why. Probably. Yeah, it's the Twilight. Alright, now we're in Avernum. Is anything worth selling here? I kind of don't think so either. The only thing we're going to be doing here is smelting that shit. See what we ordered here. Iron armaments. Hot wares. It's just not worth anything. I don't understand. The smuggle design seems like it's completely just fucked. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't feel like it's properly put together at all. Smuggling is the worst thing you can do in the game so far. There's no point in smuggling. It's not worth anything anywhere. It's hard to do because you don't know where you can sell anything. And yeah, it's just like it doesn't seem to do anything. Found some rates. But yes, the pretty much everything I have. Mushrooms. It all sells better in Vitrar. Vitrar. I don't have the green anymore, no. Jade. Sells better somewhere else. Yeah, Vitrar. Salt. Yep, Vitrar. And on top of that, I want to sell the salt to in Fort Viridium because it sells for 20 there instead of 13 or 12 or whatever. So really all we're buying here is supplies, I think. At the end of the day. But quite a lot of iron. Nah. Let's go to Utvarar and Vitrar. Yep, we want a bunch of fighters. Bunch of scouts. The prices here are better, but not by much. Very expensive at the moment. Roaming undead. Locals tell you about a trio of water merchants living near the village. You could visit them. The white-painted sandstone house of the local water merchants. 3 brothers with their families stand on the edge of the oasis. The men welcome you to their property, which is in the shade of the swaying palm trees next to a small pond. They tell you that their business came about 10 years ago when they petitioned the Vitrar of the oasis to be able to sell clean water to travelers, and the shamans gave their permission. They are happy to answer whatever questions you might have. Buy something from them. Ah, that will not be possible, the youngest of the brothers says. We don't do business here. Not any longer, the oldest brother adds. All business was moved over to the market. We only sell the water from our wells to the merchants there. It's been like that for a few years now, the third brother chimes in. Since then we have less work and better profits. The 3 brothers talk briefly about their business. We had some experience with the water trade, which is quite important and potentially lucrative in the desert. The oldest brother laughs. But we had next to nothing apart from that. But our courage was rewarded by the gods when a kind-hearted Vagrus helped us negotiate a deal with the Vitrar here. The youngest of them rushes to add. From then on, we have taken up residence here, and it's been a success story. The Vitrar are nice people, the third brother thinks out loud. Thanks to the mutual respect we have gone on doing this for a decade now. 2 of our wives are from the tribe, in fact. You glance at their garden under the palm trees where a small horde of children play, yelling and laughing. Okay. So? Alright. So. Finally, we can maybe sell some bullshit here. Jade. Iron is not worth selling here. Salt is worth selling here. Mushrooms, it's not going to get any better. Mushroom beer. You barely make any money with that. Bronze. Was that really it? The bronze and copper prices aren't bad here, but they're not good either. They're better in crystal. Fort Refugees, which I don't even know where it is. Better in Sunrock, Mirage, Crystal. Oh, yeah. I think we're just gonna hold on to it then. At least we got rid of the jade. But over here, like, I'm not sure what to buy. Herbs? Herbs seems to be the thing. Maybe it's what is the pottery price here is crazy good. What the fuck? Okay, so if we just check Vitrar and Larnak. Herbs are kind of... Yeah, herbs. We go to Tectum Carvos. Sure, let's do that. Haven't been there, so it's a little scary. The Comitatus begins to cross the large expanse of sand to reach the gates of Tectum Carvos. Approach the town. The Comitatus begins the final approach towards the town, leaving the low dunes behind to cross the large open expanse ahead. The great cliffs into which Tectum Carvos was carved ages ago loom over the flat sands like an island in the middle of a calm sea. You're halfway to your destination, and can now see the large dark mouth of the cavern that serves as a gatehouse, when a horn is sounded from the ramparts, its long call ringing ominously in the windy desert. For a moment you're confused. Surely they would not signal your arrival. You're not known here, neither are you that important, and nobody else seems to be approaching Tectum Carvos. Looking left and right, you can see something moving on the horizon. Like a sandstorm in the distance, something stirs in the desert. It is coming toward you. Another horn calls, and now you can see soldiers rush out from the gate tunnel and move to form a half circle around the entrance. They seem to be yelling, but you're too far to make out what they're saying. Are they trying to stop you? Then it hits you. The sand is rippling because something is moving under it, heading your way, with great speed. "Sandworms!" someone on your crew shouts. "A bloody army of them!" Before panic takes hold of them, you yell to the crew to make haste, and the Comitatus rushes towards the gate, but you can already tell that you will not make it. To your relief, the soldiers move further out, and now you can see that they are Tarkian warriors for the most part, accompanied by some haggard mercenaries. The next minute seemed to stretch on forever, with you and your crew going as far as you can while whipping the beasts into a frenzied rush. The sandworms reach you just as the Comitatus arrives at the line of soldiers near the gate, and a fierce battle ensues. Crossbow bolts and other projectiles are fired from inside the gatehouse at the monsters as they emerge. The mercenaries toss crude nets at the worms and try to drag them out of the sand for the spearmen to slay them. You gather your best to hold off the foes so that your crew can get inside. You and your companions enter the fray. Oh no, companion combat. Are you kidding me? I have to fight with some fucking herd boys? Tarkian Archery. Plus 10 crit, plus 15 accuracy for 1 round. Holy shit, that's so dog shit. What is that? That is complete trash. Anjari Assassin, Flash Bomb, Blade Dance. 2 consecutive attacks using poison-coated curved swords. Battle Narcotics. Plus 20% damage for 3 rounds. That is also, again, trash. Okay, so this guy has armor. So he's like actually like the biggest guy. So I shouldn't have been starting with him, but whatever. Let's fuck him up. He's taking 4 damage. He's dead. Let's start killing the smaller guys. Whew. Began a withdrawal. What the fuck is that? Withdraw. You can't do damage to him, I assume. He's just down there healing or some bullshit. Bloodletting slash. Scimitar cut. These guys were way harder than I thought they were gonna be. I thought these guys were basically like the worms we'd been fighting before, but no, these are much bigger. Oh, you can kill them when they're down there. Alright. Sure. The counterattack from Tectum Carvos, along with your own stand against the worms, seem to have halted their assault long enough for your comitatus to get inside. Unfortunately, now you are somewhat cut off from the rest of your people, and getting to the gate is quickly becoming a struggle, with Tarkian soldiers falling everywhere to the monster's onslaught. On the way to the entrance, you pass a dying, screaming man whose face and right hand have been melted by a worm's acidic spit. Body parts are lying everywhere on the reddened sands. A large worm bursts out from beneath the sand next to you and knocks the wind out of you. As you fall down, you see a lithe woman in leather armor leap up from behind a line of Tarkian defenders and skewer the creature with her spear in an elegant thrust before landing next to you. "Stay close to me," she yells, so that you can hear her over the clamor of battle and your own deafening heartbeat. Then she hauls you to your feet. Once she has confirmed that you are in one piece, the two of you dart to the Tarkian line, and in what feels like hours, but is more likely moments, you make it inside the gate. You can finally catch your breath here. The hard rock the town has carved into prevents the sandworms from following you inside. Miraculously, everyone survived from your comitatus, mostly due to the sacrifice of Tectum Carvos' defenders, who are now counting casualties and tending to the wounded. A small but well-armed platoon of dark elven crossbowmen is still shooting bolts into the worms outside with deadly accuracy, after having provided covering fire to the last retreating Tarkian soldiers. The woman who saved you, a half-elf, puts you on the shoulder and stalks away before you could thank her. A moment later, a stern-looking dark elf in a suit of elaborate chitin plate armor walks up to you after she gives the order for the crossbowmen to cease shooting. Having caught your breath, you rise to greet her. "I am Kral Hastera," she says after you introduce yourself. "You were lucky to have made it inside. Then again, you were very unlucky as well, for having run into such a large worm horde." A man speaks as he emerges from a shadowy tunnel. He is a tall Tarkian. His robes and turban indicate wealth and power. "Karim al-Buresh, at your service. I see that you have already met the Kral. She and I are responsible for defending Tectum Carvos, a task that neither of us wished for, but what can you do? Prince Karim means to say that despite the presence of an imperial magistrate in this town, it has fallen to individuals outside of the official governance to protect the lives of the people," the dark elf woman adds. "I love it so when you speak for me," the prince tells her with a charming smile, and for a brief moment the air chills around you, but then the stern warrior smiles back at the Tarkian noble. You begin to wonder if this is their usual dynamic. They go on to explain that ever since the sandworm attacks worsened, the two of them joined forces to organize the defenses of Tectum Carvos. "The south is overrun, I'm afraid," Karim says. "The few comitati that make it here are either worm hunters coming from the north, or the handful of kind souls that keep bringing us supplies. And kindly extorting us in the process," the Kral butts in. "That too," the prince forces a smile. "Anyhow, you must still be shaken, Vagrus. Why don't you settle down inside and talk to us later? We are usually found in the war room in my villa. Join us there later if you like, to talk business." As they are leaving, you ask Kral Hastera who the half-elf who saved you is. "Her name is Elani, a vagrant, admittedly quite a worthy warrior. Hangs around with the worm hunters most of the time if you want to track her down." With that, they are gone, headed back to their duties. You leave to make sure the comitatus is settled into the mansion. Alright, so that's another character we can get, the half-elf, I suppose. That's my assumption, at least. A tax collector who wants to go to Lumen. Alright, so what are the prices like here? Iron. Iron is actually very high here. Very, very high. Yeah, this is, this is better than Crystal or Mirage. Alright. Almost at 1,000. Holy shit. Silver, not in demand. Bronze and copper, though, are quite expensive here as well. So let's just sell all of that. What about pottery? Not super valuable here, but It's more valuable than anywhere else in this vicinity. What about herbs? All right. So what is good to buy here? Chitin? Coffee? Spices? So hard to tell. So hard to tell. Spices. Yeah, definitely spices. What about the coffee? I feel like coffee would be a port. 61. Yeah, 61 is too expensive. Titan. Titan is not that good here either. They might not have much more. I think this is somewhere you sell things mainly. Not somewhere you buy things. Take the guys to Lumen. The stench of slain worms permeates the central forum of Pectum Carvos, safe under the hard rock shell that covers the town. The haggard defenders are everywhere, keeping watch and trying to rest in turns, ever on the lookout for places where the slithering foe might find a way inside. Take a look around. Harvick wants to talk to you in private. The tainted mercenary draws you aside and talks in a conspiratory tone. Listen, boss, I saw a guy here, one of the people on my list. He holds a brief dramatic pause. It's one of the captains of these worm hunter fools. His mercs came here in hope of getting their hands on useful stuff while pretending to fight the vermin. I want to deal with him for good, but I'll need your help with it. A sneaky endeavor. It'll be a night operation, so let me know if you're in. Just all of them? Alright. Should have saved. Hello, ZM. Got into the Dragonlance yet? Nope. I'm honestly struggling a little bit to figure out, like, how to really progress with my current playstyle, right? Because, I'm only doing a bunch of smuggling shit, and, I don't know. I feel like I can't deal with like the windstorms and stuff like that by stepping outside of that. So I might have to start doing that soon. Let's see if we can deal with those issues. I feel like you kind of have to be a mercenary, and you can't just play like a smuggling sim or a trader. But I'm not sure. That's what it seems like. Yeah, I tried going up to Toth and stuff in the northeast, but no, there's a permanent storm there, and there's like no info on it anywhere in the game so far. It's just there's a permanent storm there. Yeah, okay, great. You gather a small team for the job and wait for the darkness to descend. Harvick tells you that he has bribed some Tarkians in charge of the night patrols to have your target and his entourage be assigned to the far perimeter, where the tainted mercenary is planning on drawing them out onto the deadly sand. However, you realize that Harvick's plan goes only as far as that, and he's not thought about the way he wants to pull them into his trap. How would you go about it? Trap kit must be owned. Sabotage the rock outcropping the patrol is going to cross. Engineering. Leave tracks to lead the patrol astray. Yeah, sure, let's trap them. It takes half an hour to weaken the solid bridge-like rock below which the fine sand is already swarming with sandworms in the dark of night. Once you set up the trap, your group hides among the rock and watch as the patrol crosses the flat expanse of hard stone plateau at the edge of the desert sand. As the fifth man steps on the bridging stone, it cracks and collapses, tossing the mercenaries among the worms below. You leave before the death screams of the patrol go silent. That one was easy. Thanks a bunch, boss. Harvick tells you gleefully once you make it back to the comitatus. And no one's the wiser. Huh. This was a resounding success. That was too easy. See, it's one of those things that's a little difficult in games, in my opinion, or in RPGs specifically, where I think having like RNG for stuff like persuading some guy in like Baldur's Gate or in or Original Sin or something. I don't really like that it's just like percentage based, because it's just kind of not that fun. And it just turns the game into like a save scumming trash thing. But at the same time, not having the RNG also makes it feel like it's just like it's like not earned. Right. It's just free. It's just like, okay, he just died. All right. Like, so I don't know. It's a little. It's very hard to actually do that right, I think. Visit the area the worm hunters inhabit. Talk to the warrior woman. A large district, abandoned by the citizens who fled the town long ago, has been taken over by the ragtag mercenary companies calling themselves worm hunters. They're a rowdy bunch, although you suspect that most of them have never seen real action. You talk to the warrior woman who fought to save you at the gates. You go around the worm hunter district and ask the mercenaries where you can find Elani, the half-elf woman who rushed out into danger to save you at the gates of Tectum Carvos upon your arrival. They point you to a dwelling carved into the harder rock walls of the cavern, in front of which the person you're looking for is sitting. The half-elf is a tall blonde woman clad in intricate leather armor. She has feathers in her hair, paint on her handsome face, and a spear at arm's reach. A bird of prey is sitting on her left arm, and she is whispering to it while stroking its feathers. The woman and the avian look up at the same time as you approach, and while Elani's harsh scrutiny turns into a welcoming smile, the bird remains vigilant. Ah, greetings, she says, recognizing you. I hope you're all right. Sorry if I came across as too aggressive out there, but we had no time for pleasantries. I'm called Elani, and this here is Striker. She raises her arm a little to indicate the bird. You ask her if she's one of the worm hunters. She chuckles and shakes her head. No, although some would consider me one, seeing how I've come here to fight the creatures. They're a menace, and their resurgence is an abomination, one that has to be stopped. And so I've pledged myself to defend this place, although lately I've begun to feel the call of the road again. Also, I've come to realize that I may not be able to help in earnest while stuck here. Elani looks you up and down. Say, you are Vagrus, right? I would be interested in joining one such as you, provided you pledge yourself to the defense of Tectum Carvos, as well as to the defeat of the worms. You tell her that you will think about the offer, to which she replies, right, let's not rush ahead. You came here to talk, so you probably have questions, right? You consider what to ask her. See, this is one of those things, like, I feel like my character wouldn't get involved here, and if I do get involved here, every single character that's in my comitatus will get angry. But I feel like if I don't do that, there's just nothing here, and the game will just kind of not progress down here. And so I feel like playing it the way I'm doing is like kind of the wrong way to actually play the game. The question is, how long should I keep trying to be a smuggler? The worst part about it is that no matter how much I try, I cannot figure out a good way to do smuggling. Smuggling is just not good. It's literally like the worst thing you can do. There's zero profit in smuggling. You have to go buy obsidian blades in some obscure place. The price isn't even good. And there's no way to sell it. Like, it's like anything that has to do with smuggling. It's like you're supposed to just kill enemies, and then they'll sometimes drop, like, obsidian blades. And then there are places where you can sell it to for, like, really poor prices. And that's, like, what the smuggling is for. Not really doing smuggling trading. See what that says. You basically need Garrick, it seems. Because right now it's complete garbage. So we need to finish this mission with Garrick, and then smuggling might open up. It seems. Elani is resting at her dwelling and is always open for a chat. Ask her to talk about herself. So what can I say about little old me? Elani crosses her arms. I've been alone for a long time, but at least I only had to look out for myself. I had a lot of good teachers, though some educating by example, some by showing the wrong way. I not only learned how to survive in the wilderness, but also to survive while staying in tune with nature. I've been living in accordance with this balance ever since. The lust of my people took me, and so I wandered the continent and saw the wasteland in its many forms. Then I met someone, a true soulmate, and we got married. He's not here, and we've been out of touch for a while now, but I intend to find him again. Elani smiles kindly. I think that should give you a fairly good idea of me. Ask her about half-elves. Well, I can't really speak for all half-elves, especially because my kin is not a unified, culturally homogeneous people, not even as much as humans. We are half-breeds, often raised among Imperials or other humans, almost never among elves. I know quite a lot about my kin, though as I have made a habit of contacting as many of them as possible. Conversely, the thing that is most common about us is the strange wanderlust that begins to grip us from time to time, scattering us to the wind. This nigh irresistible sensation alone will keep us from ever achieving anything great together. Ask her about the bird. Oh, you mean Striker? She glances at the bird with a fond smile. Him and I go way back. Beastmasters such as I form bonds with animals, the way some people do with other people. Much like Vagri, I suppose. Striker is very special. I can often see through his eyes, feel what he feels, ask him to aid me and the like. He also protects me as I protect him. Ask her about her skills and abilities. I am sure that a Vagrus such as you would find me useful. I'm a warrior, an explorer, a scout, and a wanderer. I can survive whatever the wasteland throws at me. On top of that, I have a natural, say, connection to animals. For this reason, I've been in the employ of several Vagri as the leader of handlers in the past. Ask her why she would join your crew. I am a half-elf, as you've surely figured out. Ilani smiles teasingly. We're often struck by a wanderlust that is hard to describe, but this moves my kin to journey across the continent. Some reach even beyond. I have joined the fighting here because the cause was right, and this worm menace has to be stopped. However, by now I've seen that remaining here, among the defenders, will not really help the cause much, and does not make use of my abilities. It would be better for me to walk the wasteland and perhaps look for a way to help this tectum. You ask her what she has in mind. Tell you what, she replies. If you offer your aid to the leaders here and take part in the effort to stop the worm invasion, I'll join your comitatus. Ask the hunters about their prey. Unsurprisingly, the worm hunters are a fountainhead of knowledge when it comes to their sworn enemy and favored prey, the sandworm. This is in spite of the fact that many of them have never seen a live specimen, much less fought one. However, when it comes to the origin of the creatures, the hunters cannot seem to agree on anything. Some say that the worms came from the stars, or rather from the darkness between the glimmering light on the night sky. Others claim that the burrowing horrors are a living weapon unleashed by the treacherous dragon lords on the Empire. Still others tell tales of an ancient beast slumbering beneath the voracious sands, an abomination that swallows all who sink into the quicksand out in the desert. This monster is also responsible for the worms, they say, whom it spits out from time to time. There is no end to these stories, and telling if any are close to the truth. Sandworm trophies. Why would I buy sandworm trophies? No. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I wanna do here. We're gonna just join the worm fight. It just feels like it's kind of far off from what I'm trying to do. But yes, we're gonna stop there for today. I don't wanna. I've been playing until like 2 a.m. for a while. I don't wanna do that today. So we have to stop there because it's already past midnight. But yes. Until next time. Thanks for hanging.